Welcome back to my series of Band of Brothers reviews. We've already covered the first two episodes, Currahee and Day of Days. Today we'll be discussing Carentan. A few days into the invasion of Normandy, Easy Company's mission is to take the town of Carentan, which is a crucial rally point for all the reinforcements coming in off of the English Channel, with the central character, Private Albert Blythe, played by Mark Warren, who struggles with shell shock and fear of combat, but with much needed guidance from certain leaders that he serves under, he's able to overcome those fears. Maybe I already said my personal favorite episode, but if I had to choose a personal favorite, it would probably be this one. A lot of that is due to Albert Blythe and the character arc that he experiences overcoming his fear of combat and facing it head-on during the Battle of Bloody Gulch, which was known as the Battle of Hill 30, when the Germans launched a counterattack to retake the town of Carentan, and with the help of the U.S. 2nd Armored Division, the 101st Airborne, along with Easy Company, was able to push the Germans back. The series makes a very wise choice in giving us different perspectives on the situation that these guys are fighting in, not just from the perspective of Lieutenant Winters, their leader, but from all the other guys throughout the series that serve in the Easy Company, as they try to do the best they can in the situations that they find themselves in. Blythe is shown to be a very gentle soul, someone who doesn't really want to cause harm to anybody, and one of those guys that you just really want to give a big hug to and tell him that it's going to be okay. He could have easily fallen into the stereotype of Private Upham from Saving Private Ryan, but thankfully, the creators of the show are able to showcase that with just the right push and encouragement, this guy can really excel as a soldier when needed. This episode has some of the best battle sequences, particularly the Bloody Gulch battle, which we'll get to later, but when they take the town of Carentan, it feels very chaotic and erratic in all the right ways, and none of it feels Hollywoodized. We don't really see a whole lot of resistance from the German soldiers in the town, because it's later revealed that only a small-sized unit was left to defend the town, and the rest of the German forces are coming in to take the town at a later date, because they know how important it is for the Allied invasion. All the moments in this battle range from really tense to funny, and in one case, a punch in the gut. Shifty Powers getting pinned down by a German machine gunner, and Lieutenant Welsh coming in to save him, Sergeant Lipton almost getting taken out by an anti-tank gun, and Private Tipper getting severely wounded when an explosion goes off in the building that he's searching. And just a warning, some of the footage I'll show you might be really hard to swallow, so if you need to look away for a second, I don't blame you, but this is war. Not that I've ever experienced it. I can't tell you what it's like, but from what I can tell, this is probably as close to realistic as you can portray it in live action. And from other military veterans I've talked to who have served in combat, they say that this is a pretty darn accurate representation of it. But it's not just the violence in that moment, it's the fact that his friend, Private Lead God, just goes in there to comfort him and tells him that he's gonna be okay, when the other guys are just standing there in complete disbelief, unsure of what to do. But then Blythe has a moment where he experiences hysterical blindness after he sees something happen, and he's so in shock by what he sees that he just freezes. And later, at the aid station, when Lieutenant Winters talks to him, with a little bit of encouragement, Blythe is able to get his vision back. As someone who read the various books that were written about these guys, this actually happened. And Winters said in interviews years later that he believes that Blythe just needed some comfort and some encouragement, and that's what made him snap out of his hysteria. And in a way, Lieutenant Winters and Lieutenant Spears act as father figures towards Blythe, in a similar fashion like the movie Platoon, where Taylor is mentored by Sergeant Elias and Sergeant Barnes in their own unique ways, and in Barnes' case, sometimes pretty screwed up ways. Although Lieutenant Spears is arguably more sane than Sergeant Barnes is, but it's the right kind of encouragement and mentoring that Blythe needs in order to overcome his demons later on. And with Lieutenant Spears, all these rumors are flying around Easy Company regarding him shooting all the German prisoners on D-Day, saying that he killed about 6 people, or 20, or 30, or that he shot somebody in his own platoon, refusing to accept an order. To my knowledge, Lieutenant Spears never commented on any of those things, and he probably thought that would just add even more discussion and more gossip about him. That's my guess, at least. And if I were him, I don't know if I really want that kind of attention. But ironically, he's the exact kind of leader that Easy Company needs when they go to the Battle of the Bulge. We'll cover that in the Breaking Point review, though. But there's a good scene where these guys are talking about all the various rumors about Spears, from Malarkey, Pancala, and Skip Muck, and Blythe is just listening in, and Spears comes by and tells him that they're gonna move out, and Alton Moore kind of mouths off at him a little bit.
Don't they know we're just getting settled here?
Nice, Groucho.
What? Real smart.
For those who don't know, that was a reference to the comedian Groucho Marx from the 1930s and 40s. But eventually Easy Company makes their way to Hill 30, and they encounter German resistance, and they have a bit of a firefight. Then the night comes in, and everybody's taking a rest. Blythe goes in to check on something that's going on nearby when a soldier accidentally stabs a sergeant who is oddly wearing a German poncho. Where did he get that from? I have no idea. And he runs into Lieutenant Spears along the way, and we get that great scene where he's able to tell Lieutenant Spears just what exactly was stopping him from leaving to go find his unit on D-Day. And in response,
"The only hope you have is to accept the fact that you're already dead. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you'll be able to function as a soldier's supposed to function. All war depends upon it.
Eventually, you just got to accept the situation for what it is and do the job that you were trained to do. So eventually, when the Battle of the Bloody Gulch starts and all the German tanks start coming in, Blythe is hiding in his foxhole crying his eyes out in fear. Winters comes in, doesn't shame him or anything, but he tells him, Blythe, get up, soldier. Get up on your feet. Fire your weapon on them. It's that combined with the pep talk that Lieutenant Spears gives him, fully function as a soldier is supposed to function. This battle sequence is probably my favorite of this whole series. Winters going up and down the line telling everybody what to do, Lieutenant Welsh and Private McGrath going out in the open to try to fire on that tank just when it comes up over the hill so they can fire into the bottom of the tank and destroy it. One of those moments if you're so sucked in, you look down at your hands and you probably chewed your fingernails right down to the knuckle. And then the 2nd Armored Division rolls into the rescue, causing the Germans to go on the run. Blythe gets a shot in from a distance at a German soldier who's hiding behind a tree, and then a German soldier gets crushed by his own tank like a pancake. I don't care what side you're fighting on. That's not pleasant. No, sir. Not to mention that the cinematography in this scene, very similar to Saving Private Ryan with its battle scenes, shaky and erratic, but in the most appropriate way because you're in the middle of this combat zone and you're following all these guys trying to duck and cover for all these bullets flying around your head. It's not going to look all smooth and clean. One of those times where shaky cam is used appropriately. And the episode ends with several weeks later, Blythe goes on a mission to search this farmhouse, gets shot in the neck, and is taken back to an aid station. And everything seems to be okay since the Germans are on the run and they manage to retake France. And it's revealed in the end when Malarkey goes to pick up his laundry that Lieutenant Meehan, the original commander of Easy Company after Sobel, was killed in action in the invasion of Normandy. There's also a couple moments I really like too, such as the first interaction between Garnier and Edward Babe Heffron, both literally coming from the same neighborhood of South Philadelphia, South Philly. Garnier, who's from Philly, recognized the guy's accent, even though Babe was a replacement, but due to them practically being neighbors, he could care less. And right up until their deaths, they became lifelong friends. I also really like Percani taking all these watches off of these dead soldiers whenever he sees one. I mean, is he like a medieval watchmaster? But there's one part of this episode that really bugs me, considering I know a little bit of the history of Albert Blythe and what happened to him after he got shot. The ending text that we get is that he never recovered from his wound and he died 4 years after. Not true. Not true at all. I don't know where that came from. I think some of that might have been a miscommunication when Stephen Ambrose was interviewing some of the veterans. But as it turns out, Albert Blythe actually survived his wounds, served in his army for the rest of his life up until 1967 when he died of kidney failure. Again, I don't know who messed up on that one, but I wish that they would go back and fix it because I think that's kind of disrespectful of his memory. But that's just me, though. Those are my thoughts on Band of Brothers Episode 3. I'll be covering Episode 4, Replacements, pretty soon, and I'll be posting this in honor of Veterans Day. Thank you to all the veterans who are currently serving or who have served in the past for your sacrifices, your dedication, and all the other things that came with it. And to anyone who's watching who's not from America, I would encourage you to show them some gratitude and some thanks because they're the ones fighting for your rights, your society, and your freedom. And with what's going on right now in the world with all this hatred and divisiveness, a little compassion and gratitude would suffice. So once again, thanks guys for watching. Comment below and tell me what your thoughts are if you've seen this episode. I'll see you guys in the next video, and happy Veterans Day.